call in from Madrid. Ilka Toygur, analyst of European affairs in Turkey at the Elkanah Royal Institute. Thank you for speaking with us here on France 24.
Thank you very much.
We're going to see a bilateral meeting, which is a key one coming up, and that is between Joe Biden and Recep Tayyip Erdogan, the Turkish president. Turkey, where if you're going to paint the G7, the NATO Summit, and the US-EU Summit as democracies versus authoritarian regimes, makes perhaps for an uneasy ally?
Yeah, definitely. You're right. Turkey is an uneasy ally, and it's definitely revisiting the alliances of 20th century. It is an important ally still. It's an ally that is trying to show that still be an asset to the alliance. And more importantly, let me tell you one more thing. Erdogan's government is struggling with domestic politics, and Turkish economy is in bad shape. And the country is facing inflation, unemployment, a dangerously weakened lira. So I think this is why the Turkish government is very much ready to establish at least some kind of bridges with the Western allies. So even if it's a tricky one, it is definitely...
Yeah, I was going to say, you're saying, Ilka,
it is definitely looking forward to reestablishing bridges.
Sorry, a bit of a delay on the connection. It's interesting because we had a press conference, a short press conference by Recep Tayyip Erdogan earlier. His statements were quite conciliatory, particularly when it came to neighboring Greece. Are you suggesting, as some have, that this is because he's not in as strong a position as he'd like to be?
I think there are two key reasons for that. The first one is the economy. The Turkey needs European investment, the US investment, and Turkey needs to avoid sanctions as much as they can. And second of all, it has reached to its unilateral foreign policy's limits. So I think there's an intention to at least to have some kind of dialogue with Greece and Cyprus in the region, so that the relationship gets a bit better with the European Union itself as well. And of course, Eastern Mediterranean is a very important region for Joe Biden himself as well. So this is tricky for Turkey, but I think it's for them, it's time for dialogue.
Sam Chantier.
I have a question for you, Ilka. Thank you so much for being with us. You mentioned that Turkey needs these bigger, certainly, international players as part of this allegiance. But isn't this reciprocal? Because in a way, the international players need Turkey when it comes to allegiances in places like Syria and Afghanistan.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is one of the important cards that the Turkish government has, because not only the issues related to Syria, Libya, and decreasing tensions in the Eastern Mediterranean are on the table, but also they have an EU card, because Turkey has pledged to secure the Kabul airport and the allies' embassies in Afghanistan when it comes to withdrawal. So this is one of the cards on the table, and this is one of the ways that the Turkish government is trying to show that it still is a useful ally for the alliance.
And Turkey, which is an adversary of Russia in Syria, an adversary of Russia in Libya, and is rival when it comes to what's going on in Crimea, and yet it's got this sort of special relationship between Erdogan and Vladimir Putin, which the others inside of NATO don't have. It's incredible, this juggling act.
Actually, this is a very interesting point, because yes, they have rivalries in regional theaters of power, but also Turkey has both Russian missile defense systems, S-400s from Russia, creating a very important debate inside NATO. So, and in the meantime, Turkey is claiming that it's the only country that could limit the impact of Russia in the region. So I think they have an alliance based on interests, so they can be friends whenever it is supposed to be, and also be rivals, and they agree to disagree. The Russian-Turkish relationship is beneficial for both sides, and I think they both play that very cleverly when they have to.
So Ilka Toygar, tell us, were this summit taking place again in the build-up to that summit in Geneva between Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin? Recep Tayyip Erdogan, when they sit down for a bilateral meeting, the two know each other. We remember Biden's visit to Ankara right after that failed coup in 2016. But what will he be saying? You mentioned those Russian-built missiles, and what will he be saying to get Erdogan in line, if you will?
I think there are various bilateral irritants in Turkey-US relations, and the S-400s is one of the key issues for the US, and US's alliance with Syrian Kurds for fighting the so-called Islamic State is a very big problem for the Turkish government. They have various irritants, but I think they will try to agree to disagree once again and come up with areas of cooperation that could benefit them both. And the problem is, at least for me, is that Biden is paying a very important lip service to this desire to disassociate the role of democracy in external action. And if he is serious, this is not just about China and Russia. This is also about Turkey. So I'm really wondering, while they are discussing the bilateral issues, if Biden will be also talking about the democratic backsliding in Turkey and the issues of rule of law. So we will see the limits of the alliance also depending on that dimension.
But you're not expecting Biden to publicly dress down Erdogan?
What I'm expecting is these issues will be on the table. Actually, we are also talking about a very short meeting because this is just the sidelines of NATO meeting. But for me, what is more interesting is the days to come, because from tomorrow onwards, we have the EU-US transatlantic summit. And then next week, we have the European Council meeting where the leaders will discuss once again Turkey. So I really wonder what is the interplay between all these summits, starting with G7, ending with the European Council next week, and what will be the future for Turkey? Is the country will stay in this Western alliance that was designed in 20th century? Will democracy play an important role for the future relations? Can Turkey still play its cards as an important ally for NATO? I think what is more important is the interplay between all this and where we will be heading for the months and years to come.
Ilka Toygar of the Elcano Royal Institute, so many thanks for speaking with us from Madrid.
Thank you very much for having me.